Today on Firearms, Fuel, and Fabrication, we're going to check out a Space Cowboy. Welcome back, guys. Today we are looking, there's a hair on there, at my Marlin 336W. What can I tell you about the 336W? First of all, it's a 30-30 lever action Marlin 1894 series of lever guns. The 336W, now this is conjecture, I don't know anything for a definite. There were rumors the W stood for Walmart, but the 336W was their cheapest of the line, made for big box stores. So that's why this does not have the typical blued finish that you would see on the higher line of Marlin rifles. It's a very cheap, almost Parkerized like finish, and it's on everything. It had cheaper wood. It was not your typical run-of-the-mill high-end. I think this is like a beech wood. It's not a very high quality. I mean, it's still get your typical, engraving in the wood, which was probably done by a machine. But not your high quality wood that you would typically see. These guns were made after Marlin was consumed by Freedom Group, which was a subsidiary of the Cerberus Group, and I think their main goal was to absorb companies just to try to destroy them, because, I mean, they almost ruined Remington, Marlin, Bushmaster. I mean, there was a lot of companies that they were in control of, and anybody that knows anybody about Freedom Group, Cerberus Group days, that the quality on everything went to pot. It was horrible. And it almost destroyed a lot of classic American companies. Now, this one, like a lot of the quality control issues with these, there were people that actually had feeding issues with these guns. They couldn't even run. Mine was not that bad. Mine was very clunky in the operation, not very smooth, like very gritty. I've gone through, I've done work to the internals of like the lift gate, the bolt. I cleaned the bolt, deburred everything up, cleaned stuff up, looked everything over. It's a Ranger Point Precision, Ranger Point medium lever loop, so those are replaced. But as far as anything else internally, I've gone through, deburred, cleaned up, like little things like the lever here. You'll notice my lever does not slop side to side. I actually tightened this up here, and I just took a soft mallet and, tightened these, tapped them in to where the lever barely fit, and then I put the lever in. So it's all nice and tight. But as far as everything else. It was just a lot of deburring and cleaning. Things like, let's dig out some of the parts. I mean, you can see where I cleaned this up and polished a lot of the surfaces. Cleaned everything up, cleaned up here, because there just was not very good quality control in any of these parts. The other big issue was this stupid guy right here. I mean, this was the factory feed gate. You can look at the bend on that. The spring pressure here. I mean, it's just absolutely, we'll hold it down on a tight surface, like to push that compared to that. Like, it's just ridiculous how insanely tight this spring was on this feed gate. This feed gate from Ranger Point is so much better. I can actually load it without tearing my hands up now. But yeah, I mean, I've got the little compass on here for the quick takedown screw. Everything you see that's aftermarket, other than the scope and the muzzle device, is Ranger Point. The feed tube plug. The internals of the feed tube, like the follower, it's all Ranger Point. The spring, I forget what I put in for a spring. But I mean, it's made it a lot better of a gun than it was. I picked it up for a decent price. I probably got a couple $1,000s in this rifle now, but it's 20 times the rifle it was. A lot of guys don't like this modern furniture, but it has brought it up, and you can see it's beat up. I've been using it. There's mud. I've hunted with it. I've done a lot of different just shoots with it. It's fun. The Ranger Point stuff brings it up to a modern age. Everybody calls them space cowboys when they're modernized like this. So here's my space cowboy. I cut the front sight down, threaded the barrel. I did a 1/2x28 threading. Put an adapter on to give me a good solid shoulder to put my muzzle device against. The Ranger Point stuff has all fit excellently, other than on this Chris Costa handguard. There's a barrel band right here. These screws right here. And right here. This screw on both sides. The screws were actually too long and they pinched my feed tube. And I was not able to load any ammo beyond that. Luckily, I had a solid steel bar. I was able to push down in and hammer it through to take the dimples out, and then grind these screws down to fit. It's the only real problem I've had with any of the Ranger Point stuff was that. I do want to get the riser. I think the new ones come with a riser. Mine does not. So, side saddle. This is really nice because, I mean, I do run night vision. I have a clip-on night vision for the scope. I run an IR illuminator out here. I have an Arca Swiss QD that I put on the handguard when I run on my tripod. The Ranger Point trigger is excellent. Very, very crisp. Little take up. Now this is going to hit the cross bolt. Very little take up. Very light. Just excellent trigger. Excellent trigger. definitely a great upgrade. It's got a spring in here, so you lose that typical trigger flop. I mean, it still flops like they're supposed to, but the spring in there don't allow it to flop around while you're carrying it, so it takes a lot of the noise out. Excellent suppressed. Hornady makes a 175 grain sub-X expanding projectile that I do hand loads. I roll my own, and they shoot really well. Insanely quiet, suppressed. A lot of fun. You don't have to worry about powders because you don't have to worry about running a gas system with like a semi-auto. I love the side saddle. I didn't know if I wanted to put it up here, back here, but they give you M-LOK slots back here. The side saddle is M-LOK QD, so I could put it up here if I chose to, up here, anywhere. I could add a bunch of them if I wanted to and carry like 30 rounds of ammo on the gun if I wanted to. But I love the side saddle. I do want the riser because for the optics, the riser would be great. And like I said, I think the newer ones come with risers. Mine did not. And I'm trying to get a hold of them over that. But yeah. So don't discount the 336W if you run across one at a decent price. Pick it up. Now, the aftermarket parts are costly. You don't need all this though. Just a couple of the internal aftermarket parts. Swap out the trigger, replace this, clean up the internals, polish things, put it back together. Even with the factory lever, it's an excellent choice. Give it a shot. Oh, and I forgot to add in, I actually took this rifle to another YouTuber, Machine Gun Dad. There will be portions of that video in this video, but the rest of it will be on his channel. He did a Marlin 336 series comparing different Marlin levers, and I figured I'd give him a call. Told him I had a pretty unique Marlin. Went down, took it to him. He actually enjoyed it quite a bit, so it'll be on his channel also. Say it to that. I got 2 subsonics, and they're going to be followed by 2 supers.
All right,
no suppressor.
Give me a sec to get you lined up. You're looking over his shoulder.
Yeah,
you can see the targets?
Just barely see the plate. You can just barely make it
turn
out.
them both on record. Good to go. That wasn't actually very loud at all.
And these are the supers.
That wasn't actually very loud at all.
And these are the supers. Okay, this is with suppressor, 2 subsonics, followed by 2 supers. Subsonics are 8 grains of unique powder.
How many grain bullet?
175 grain, and it's a Hornady sub-X projectile.
Planking a
Leave
22.
that one on.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
pretty impressive.
Good to go.
Again, look at the camera real quick and tell them what this is.
Okay, this is with suppressor, 2 subsonics, followed by 2 supers. The subsonics are 8 grains of unique powder.
How many grain bullet?
175 grain, and it's a Hornet 8 sub X projectile.
That's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty fucking cool. We're back inside Jeremy. We tried out his 30-30. And I'll be truthful, I was a little skeptical, but then he said he loaded up his own subsonics, and I was impressed. So, obviously, if you're watching this part, you watched the shooting video. This is a standard, 175 grain load?
That is 150 grain. The powder charge on that one is directly out of the Hornet 8 book.
So this is basically, you could go to Walmart and buy
Yep,
this.
that's off the shelf 150 grain soft point.
Yeah, round nose soft point.
Yep.
So the big boom was this one. This is the one that's really cool. Tell us about this one.
Okay, this is a 175 grain Hornet 8 sub X projectile, loaded at 2.515 overall length on a CCI 200 primer with 8 grains of Alliant unique pistol powder.
For all you hand loaders out there, and if you got a 30-30, I was impressed. Even without a can, I don't think this was that loud. Nick, you were standing at the camera, and Shannon was in the blast. She was all right off to the right, so basically at the end of the muzzles. What did you think?
It was impressive. Unbelievable.
Shooting the subsonics with a suppressor almost sounded like you were shooting a suppressed 45, and it's a 30-30 coming out of that gun. It's impressive.
See you next time. Have a good one, guys.